You know, I'm notorious for my love of gray characters. And one of the grayest characters in the entire history of Westeros is Daemon Targaryen, the Rogue Prince. We took one of the sidebars and made a separate story out of it, the Rogue Prince. Daemon is the younger brother of King Viserys I. For a time, he was the heir to the throne when Viserys had no children. And then Viserys started having children, and he stopped being the heir to the throne. He's a notorious bad boy, a rogue in every sense of the word. He was a rival for Viserys' sister and his own niece, Rhaenyra, and then later he became the husband of Rhaenyra. He switches sides several times. You never know what side he's going to come down on. He's a very colorful and unpredictable character, and I think he has to rank up there as my favorite. But the book is full of what I hope are interesting characters. Balerion, the Black Dread. He is the oldest and largest of the Targaryen dragons. He's the only one born in Valyria when the Targaryens fled Valyria before the Doom. They brought, I believe 5 dragons with them. One by one, those dragons died on Dragonstone. Only Balerion survived past the conquest and to be the leading and most powerful dragon of the age. So he's gigantic and old and difficult to master or tame. He was Aegon's dragon, Aegon the Conqueror, the founder of the whole Targaryen dynasty. And after Aegon's death, various other riders rode or attempted to ride Balerion, some more happily than others, but he is certainly a legend among the dragons of the Targaryen dynasty. He was the Lord of Dragonstone, one of a succession after the Targaryens fled Valyria and settled on Dragonstone in advance of the Doom. A number of them came and went. Mostly their eyes still gazed east toward Essos, but as the years passed and son succeeded father and brother succeeded brother, they began to take more interest in the affairs of Westeros. And Aegon finally decided to take over Westeros and unify the 7 kingdoms that existed at the time under a single rule. There is a lot of speculation that, in some sense, he saw what was coming 300 years later and wanted to unify the 7 kingdoms to be better prepared for the threat that he eventually saw coming from the north, the threat that we're dealing with in A Song of Ice and Fire. Yes, Jaehaerys the Conciliator, the old king, was the longest reigning of the Targaryen monarchs. He took the crown when he was 14 years old and held it, I believe, for 55 years. And Alysanne was his sister and his wife. Theirs was a great romance, if you'll accept that an incestuous relationship can be a great romance. And they were, for most of their reigns, they were partners. They worked together. Jaehaerys ruled, but Alysanne had an immense amount of influence over him, and on a number of occasions he took her advice or passed laws that she urged. The thing about Daenerys, of course, is she lives in a time when the dragons have been gone for hundreds of years. No one has seen a living dragon since the events chronicled in Fire and Blood. So this is a book that Daenerys actually might benefit from reading, but she has no access to Archmaester Gildane's crumbling manuscripts. So she's operating on her own there, and maybe if she understood a few things more about dragons, her own history in Essos would have gone a little differently. But we shall see. Fans will have to make up their own mind about that.